How do you implement a first of its kind project involving multiple stakeholders during one of the most disruptive events of the century? Good evening. I'm actually here from ST Engineering. Thank you for coming on, even though it's after your working hours, to find out more about the barrier-free smart parking project implemented by ST Engineering in NTU. I will introduce the team and the technology landscape. Before sharing on the project background, the challenges faced, and the mitigations, and ending with some of our future plans. This will be our agenda for today. All right, let me go to the next slide. ST Engineering has implemented the parking solution globally and in more than 300,000 parking lots. Our business is focusing on the Middle East and the Southeast Asia regions. The car park ST Engineering operates and maintains are in West and Northeast region of Singapore. And I'm very sure that many of you didn't know this, but we actually one of the largest parking operator in Singapore. So just insight into some of the problems faced on the ground. This is the Singapore Electronic Parking System, or EPS, that many of you will see when you return to the home. Wait, if you're abiding to the COVID regulations, you should be watching from home right now. But the EPS antenna identified the vehicles with the onboard unit on the vehicle dashboard, while the charging unit, which is very expensive, then calculate the deduct fees from the cash card or CPass card inserted. Next problem is the barrier, which is not caused quite often by cyclists or vehicles, as just now Jonathan just mentioned. This can lead to secondary accidents such as scratches the paint of the car. Let me show you one of the incidents that we experienced in the car park that we operate. So this is the first video, a cyclist not into the barrier, and show you, and the barrier is misaligned, but he doesn't know that. You can see that he also as stunned as us. I will show you another video and to let you see what happened after that. In this, the next vehicle arrived and the barrier is lifted. Because of the previous accidents, the misaligned barrier came off and dropped onto the black car, which led to the scratches. And this vehicle actually claimed the insurance more than a few $1,000s. So if you're surprised right now, let me tell you that this is only one of the incidents regarding barrier arms that we have experienced during our operation. Globally, there are issues recognized by industry, and many people are looking to move away from those expensive systems and to improve user experience with the mobile application and the cashless payment. To address this opportunity, ST Engineering therefore developed a smart parking management platform and mobile application called Go Parking. Beyond consolidating the parking operation and maintenance of the 4 sites of NTU Main Campus, NIE, LKC Medicine in Novena, and NTU at One North. NTU was also looking to expand their smart campus vision, and existing parking management system was a good place to start. Back then, season parking tickets for staff were deducted from payroll, while student system was hosted on the intranet. The customer looked to eliminate those silo systems while also consolidating the complementary parking ticket system. There was also a look to future in the consideration of potential technological update in local electronics parking system. I'm sure that many of you are aware that Singapore will be implement a new satellite-based ERP system, which will use a new onboard unit. NTU was concerned about this future EPS system and wanted to explore an alternative. Most importantly, NTU wanted to implement a barrier-free system where cars would able to enter and exit car parks quickly without have to wait for the barrier to lift. I believe many of you has experienced being stuck in the exit of car park. It might be because of the cash card have insufficient fund, or maybe you stuck behind a super blur driver and then a queue start to form out of car park and nobody able to leave. And it feels like there's no solution. All of us are familiar with this frustration, and ST Engineering was a nature technology partner with a gold parking system to help NTU in a journey to be a better place for its staff, students to work, study, and live in. A quick overview of some of the key figures. NTU have 4 campuses, totaling to 59 car parks and more than 4,000 parking lots. Of course, of the size, there will be the phased implementation of co-parking across the campuses. But surely, after project kickoff March 2020, the COVID situation worsened, which affected global production lines and the workplace. As we are familiar, the beginning of the project, for one of the measures as the PM, we had to sit down with the customer and understand what they need and cater their requirements. This was not easy task with the multiple stakeholders in NTU. For 4 months from March to June, the work stream were all migrated to virtual meetings to prepare the UAT in July. Not only was the new season parking system, the barrier-free system in NTU was also the first in Singapore. And there was, of course, a need to ensure the publicity and the education for the staff and students were in place. For example, as mentioned previously, season parking for staff were deducted from the payroll. And what if the busy professor doesn't realize that if the season parking system have now moved to the co-parking and doesn't purchase and pay for their season parking tickets? This will lead to the unhappiness, which would impact the sentiments towards co-parking. Because of the COVID, roadshow and publicity had to be done virtually, and we had to make sure that it was effective. And finally, after 6 months, co-parking would go live throughout the NTU main campus. Of course, many of you thinking, what is barrier-free system? How do I pay without my cash card? How can I ensure my pay where there's no barrier? I'm not sure about the audience here, but if I visit HDB car park and the barrier arm is up, my natural response will be, wow, free parking, I will put on my cash card just in case and chiong. But of course, co-parking system has to be able to and will be able to catch me. How does co-parking do this? Instead of relying on the EPS antenna and the onboard unit on vehicle, co-parking identifies vehicle using license plate recognition camera, which is faster, cheaper, and more accurate. In fact, the vehicle can travel at 30 km/h without stopping, because our deep learning system was still able to capture their vehicle numbers. Let me show you the video of the speeding vehicle during our UAT. It's very fast. Let me play one more time. Yeah, actually, you can see this video is original video without any modification. It's a real speed. I believe it's more than 30 km/h. But yes, the co-parking is still able to capture the license plate. This also supported by our edge computer at the entry and exit to process the image of the license plate capture. And we are also able to identify and charge the tailgating vehicles. Tailgating car park is when the vehicle, also called the tailgating vehicle, follow another vehicle very closely when entering a car park. And both vehicles enter at the same time. And only one vehicle is registered in the back end. The tailgating vehicle will then be able to avoid the parking fees. Let me show you another video where we try to capture the tailgating vehicles. So this video actually captured during our UAT. During normal situation, tailgating is happen on 2 cars. But because for us, we want to ensure that the testing is thorough. So actually we arranged 5 cars. Let me show one more time. So actually we arranged 5 cars to do the tailgating action, and yet the co-parking is still able to capture 5 vehicles and do the payment deductions successfully. Sorry, let me continue playing. Sorry, there's some technical issue. Okay, because there's no barrier arm, we will see the vehicle enter the car park while exit lane, or vice versa in an attempt to skip the payment, or maybe they just want to test the system. You can see on the two pictures on the right were the real cases detected on the ground. Due to PTAPA issue that we also covered the carpet for today. The co-parking mobile application and the management platform support the barrier-free system by serving as a touch point for users to register an account, to set up their payment while credit card or debit cards, and manage their parking transaction on the mobile phone or online, wherever they go actually. Driver can apply for and pay for their season parking tickets. For example, if they change their vehicle in the middle of the month, they are also able to send in a request on GoParking. With the GoParking management system, we were also able to introduce different pricing tier across the different campuses. Where, for example, NTU at Wat North, where the alumni house is located, registered alumni are able to enjoy complimentary 3 hours of free parking. In NTU main campus, registered staff are able to enjoy special hourly parking rate if they do not purchase the season parking tickets. All these parking transactions from GoParking, together with those from Cash Card and CPass, would then be able to collect on the parking crowd management platform, giving NTU a bird's eye view of their parking operation and maintenance. Together, GoParking eliminates the needs of the top-up machine because drivers are able to pay with the credit card and debit cards, which is more convenient for the driver and NTU, as they are able to see all of their operation on crowd. It's more accurate with it and also more cost-effective than usual electronic parking system. But where some of the challenges where we faced during the 6-month implementation, firstly, as country implemented lockdown, factory and office were empty, which affected by the procurements of the hardware we required. Also, while Zoom meetings and webinars like this as normal for us right now, these were all very new for us a year ago. Because the team were all works remotely, software development tools like Jira also became crucial to track progress. We also implemented interim cameras when the hardware we required do not arrive on time. Secondly, not only was NTU the first large-scale deployment for our GoParking product, the barrier-free concept was also a first in Singapore. So we have to ensure that the system was able to capture the vehicle who might pull out the cash card and the sign that of car pass without the barrier arm. To ensure that the internal team had to have a clear definition of concept. We had daily stand-up meeting with our software team to ensure that system was robust. Also, we also mobilized everyone in office to test the system. Then, as mentioned previously, as the top university, NTU also have a series of the stakeholders that we had to manage. And all of them had differing ideas and interests. So it's impossible to satisfy everyone, but to ensure that we could meet the goal live date, the teams and the stakeholders would work towards a common goals. During our UAT, even though the first implementation would not affect NIE, LKC Medicine, NTU at One North, they were also invited to join the UAT to find out more about the GoParking beforehand. And lastly, which is surely the hardest, balancing the interest of a product and a project. If customized too much according to the customer requirements, then it will not be suitable for others users in the future, which would lead to you having multiple interface for different customers. It's of course easier to go along with the customer request, but it's more important to be clear of the bigger picture. As usual, communication and forward planning are key to a successful rollout of the project. We are grateful for NTU support Moving ahead, co-parking will continue to implement targeted enforcement on drivers who try avoid the payment into NTU car park. We will continue expanding, reach out not only to the new student in NTU every year, but also to others car park in Singapore. We will look to implement small promotion tie out with NTU and beyond. For example, in August, we actually worked with the BYD to provide a door gift and the promotion for the co-parking user when they test drive the electric vehicles. Other promotion that we are looking at would be to perhaps incentivize user to visit and park in NTU through new promotions. Last but not least, we will also onboard more EV chargers so that co-parking users who drive electric vehicles will be able to charge anywhere in Singapore.